Let's try this again, Alex, and hope that it's our last time facing these technical difficulties. Our sincerest apologies. But we pick things back up in the bottom of the fifth. 2 Monarchs on with no outs. Both Tyler Overitis and Patrick Illich have walked.
Now batting the shortstop, number 4, Jack Fitzharris.
To the top of the lineup go the Monarchs with Jack Fitzharris. In the top of the fifth, Keaton Ballard got out of a mini jam. A few runners on, retiring Carson Clark and Brandon Green to end that threat. 7-0 still the score in the regular season finale. Alongside Alex Maxwell, I'm Jake Gorwitz. One hopper up the middle, and the new Grand Lake pitcher Manny Voorhees throws it away. That'll allow Tyler Overitis to score. A classic example of good things happen when you put it in play.
Absolutely. How about that, Jake? The first run for the Monarchs comes across. And that's an excellent saying, Jake. Good things always happen when you find a way to put it in play.
Now batting first baseman, number 30.
And not only that, but you got nobody out here. Now you got 2 men on bases, 1 in scoring position. So let's get things going here.
Manny Voorhees sends in a nasty off-speed pitch to Hayden Yatzak. Voorhees replaces Gabriel Torres, who pitched a few frames for Grand Lake. So far, Alex, we've seen 3 two-way players for the Mariners. It started off with Tucker Hagen, then obviously Gabriel Torres, and Manny Voorhees played third base last night.
Shows you how versatile this team is. And all 3 of those guys look solid on the bump. And talking about a two-way guy, he's throwing to a two-way player in Hayden Yatzak himself. It'll be interesting to see where Yatzak goes as he progresses in his career.
Three walks so far in the bottom of this fifth inning. Bases are loaded for Carson Caudill. 7-1 the score. Monarchs get 1 back. Still plenty of baseball ahead of us tonight.
Oh, yeah. Nobody out, Jake. 7-1, like you said. And the man with half of the team's hits tonight, Carson Caudill up. And if you're Carson, you can't get too anxious here. You've never been in this situation this season. Just put something hard in play and give it your best. But that'll do.
Puts it in play, does a job, brings home Patrick Illich. Some pitchers fielding practice right there. Manny Voorhees gets on his horse off the mound for the first out of the inning. Another run for the Monarchs, 7-2.
It's all right. Caudill's first RBI in the year. And another great chance for Coleman to scrape together 2 RBIs here. 7-2, Jake. Only 1 down.
Camden Coleman has taken some healthy hacks tonight. Hasn't been able to connect.
No, and if you're Coleman, you can't try to do too much here. Give your team a chance.
Goes down on 3 straight pitches from Manny Voorhees. Opted to go with the heat right down the middle. 2 men still in scoring position.
Now batting third baseman, number 23, Henry Brown.
But now there's 2 outs.
See, that's one where you'd like to have that back. Just put it in play and make it 7-3. instead of really putting the pressure on Henry Brown to come up clutch here. And an excellent curveball there from Voorhees there. When you can throw that first pitch for a strike, that's tough to defend against. How about two? Two beautiful curveballs. Now, if you're Henry Brown, you got to sit fastball and adjust to that off speed once again, because Voorhees will throw that heat right by you every time.
Just pokes that pitch off the tip of the bat, sends it foul over the top of the Monarchs dugout. Count still 0-2. Pokes it the opposite direction. A sliding play by the shortstop. Took a look at third, took another look at first. Decided to hang on to it.
Credit that to Henry Brown for sticking with it and fighting through that at-bat. Down 0-2, two curveballs, and he had an approach. He made an adjustment, and he hit it hard to shortstop. Gave his team a chance. It's always about giving it to the next guy. Nice job from Henry Brown. A good quality two-out at-bat, a two-strike at-bat even. Monarchs not going away here, Jake. 7-3 in the bottom of the fifth.
There's a reason Henry Brown's known for his two-out offense.
Yeah, it's a unique stat, right? If you really dive into it, Henry Brown is really clutch in with runners in scoring position, as well as two outs. And a good move there from Brown to advance to second. And now if you're Cuthrell, a great opportunity presents itself. Two ducks on the pond.
Blew it by Sand and Cuthrell right there. Henry Brown on second, Yatzak on third. 7-3 now the score. Chipping away are the Monarchs. Fastball high and away. Makes the count 3-1.
And this game is completely different now. The Monarchs were dead before. And now you just need to chip away, like you said, Jake. Doesn't have to all come back at once. But it all could here with Ian Francis. Bases loaded. But a big two-out at bat here.
Now batting left fielder
for
number
Ian.
8, Ian Francis.
And Ian's had some good at-bats here. You'd like to see the balls fall more. Raise that average of his. And on base percentage as well.
Francis fouls off the first pitch from Manny Voorhees. Voorhees came in at the beginning of this bottom of the fifth. Struggled with pitch location so far. Overitis came home to score. Illich and Fitzharris too. And the bases are juiced for Ian Francis. Francis drives that one into left center. Coming all the way over to make the catch is Donnie Goods. Might have saved a couple runs right there.
Might have saved the game, really. Wow. That was coming in, Jake. Still 7-3. Monarchs had a little bit of success that inning. Just putting together 3 runs. And that's what we like to see. And how about this? Seth Gurgley making his pitching debut for the Monarchs.
This is really where the fun starts.
Yeah. Let's get
right?
things going.
We've seen Carson Caudill in the field. He has a couple at bats to his name tonight, but we've had actual pitchers on the mound up to this point. Kane Elmy started the game, just went 1 inning, and Keaton Ballard did his best job to keep this game in check. Now he'll hand over the keys to Seth Gurgley. And Alex, normally we like to give everyone at home bit of a scouting report, what to expect from the men on the bump, but
Now in the game,
I couldn't tell you a thing.
number 15,
Well, from what we've
Seth
heard, Jake, Seth
Gurley.
Gurley has been smooth on the mound. He's been very natural. He's a great athlete. One of the best athletes on this team, which is saying a lot. So this doesn't really seem to be a huge adjustment for Seth. As a good ball player can figure out anything he needs to do. But at this level, the athletes can almost do anything they want based on pure athleticism. So really, if Seth can find the zone and give his team a chance to make plays, that's all he really needs to do.
We saw Joe Quito make an appearance on the mound earlier in the season, and he fit in quite well. Couple strikeouts during his appearance.
Yep.
So Gurgley will face 9 then top going into the top of the 6th. 7-3 the score.
Top of the 6th inning for the Mariners. Shortstop number 1.
Grand Lake leads.
Here we go, Seth. All you need to do is fill it up and let your defense do the rest. And he had a pretty good warm-up sesh just a few minutes ago. And it's got to be tough going out there as a guy that doesn't throw just his first inning of the year. We talk about it all the time. It's all about being comfortable.
Well, he saws Andrew Nikoluk off there. Evens the count 1-1. Nikoluk 1 for 2 so far. Singled in the first and then fouled out in the third. It's good to see some smiles out there on the mound from Seth.
Yeah, hopefully they're not too nervous smiles, but really this at-bat will really help Seth out a lot if he can get an out. There you go. Another strike. He's looking fine out there. He's dealing just fine. The misses haven't been too far. If I was on the other team, I wouldn't really know that this guy isn't a pitcher predominantly.
That pitch just missed low. Thought we might have a Gurgley strikeout. Count full now.
Yeah, the boys were ready to erupt. You could just see it.
And so far, the timing isn't there against Seth Gurgley. Yes, a small sample size, and it's only been Andrew Nikoluk to face him so far. But some foul balls just not fully connecting.
No.
Left that one high and walks Nikoluk.
It's difficult to come into the game and expect to throw strikes when you haven't really practiced or had any prior experience this season. He's doing just fine. He just doesn't have the experience.
21, Sam Seeker.
Good first pitch strike there from Seth.
He's facing Sam. Sam
Yeah.
Seeker replaces Elliot Cruson in the top of the Mariners lineup.
There you
Takes
go.
another strike.
For a guy that's coming in for the first time, you need to start off as strong as you can because it really gives you a better shot at getting these outs that are so needed. That ball was just a tad foul.
Seeker thought it might have stayed fair.
Well, I wonder why that up ball was absolutely smoked. It would have been a double all the way. Went all the way down to the bullpen for the Monarchs, which is out of view of the camera.
Count still 0-2. Here's the pitch.
Pretty close, Jake. Just a tad outside and maybe a little low. But how about Seth picking his spots and sticking with them as well? A little bit of a squeeze, maybe.
Weak hit right side. The flip from Coleman to Fitzharris retires Nicoluk. And Sam Seeker's on after the fielder's choice.
That's what you want out of a pitcher. A ground ball. A potential for a double play. It looks like Coleman didn't really get the bounce he was looking for. And that gave Seeker the chance to beat out the throw from at first. But another good at-bat from Gurgly.
Fastball low. Begins Donnie Goods at bat. 1 out in the top of the 6th. 7-3 the score. Seth Gurgly making his first appearance on the bump this Monarch season. I think we might see Reese Longstaff, a GLSEL MVP candidate, come in to pitch next. Who knows?
Nice off speed there from Seth. A big sweeping slider. That's good to know that he has that. Probably why he was begging the coaches that he could pitch so he could show it off. There we go again. Good is way ahead of that. And credit that to Gurgly for mixing up his pitches and throwing off the rhythm of the Mariners' batters.
Runner on the move, fouled away by Goods. This game got a little more interesting with the 3 Monarchs runs in the bottom of the 5th. Definitely can't count out the home team. Sorry, Alex. Full count on Donnie Goods. Cruising on first. The payoff pitch. Chopper to the right side. Yatzak makes the play to get the lead runner, but PFP, something that Seth Gurgly doesn't really put much attention toward.
No. Another example of guys being out of position. And it really shows you how muscle memory and practice and reps really are so crucial, because Seth really isn't in a normal, he's not in his element really, and a little unfamiliar territory. But nonetheless, 2 outs. A good outing so far as he starts off the at-bat with a beautiful off-speed to make it 0-1.
And Alex, I have to ask, if you're on the receiving side of these pitches from a guy like Seth Gurgly or Reese Longstaff, who we'll most likely see in the near future, the velocity isn't the same. Yes, these guys can still pipe in some heat, but it's not what you're seeing from Ahmad Harajli or Jalen Jones like last night. Can that throw off a rhythm?
Oh, absolutely. You see it all the time in the major leagues. A position player will throw like 75, and that ball skied into left field, and Francis is camped on Britt. But it doesn't really. It does make a big difference when you got a position guy. Sometimes in a late game, he'll throw 74, 75, and guys are on their front foot, lunging, hitting little pop-ups to the various places in the infield. So absolutely, it does throw off the timing. When you got a guy throwing 95 and then a guy throwing low 80s or mid 80s, it's a big, big change. But a great job from Gurgley. Nobody out in that no runs that inning. And nobody really hit the ball well off him.
No, some cheaply hit balls in the infield. That last out, just a routine fly out to left. Some bragging rights, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to the dugout.
Yeah,
or even back to college. Like,
yeah.
Hey, guys, look what I did this summer.
Oh, 100%. This
got Joe Quito as a witness.
That's why you talk to the coaches, because you want to get that experience, get that clout. And Gurgley's in the bullpen with his hat off. So his day might be done. We'll still wait on that from Ben Kamenowski.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see pitching changes all around from both sides. Grand Lake will make a change of their own. Brandon Bacon comes into the game, number 22, replacing Manny Voorhees.
Now, if you're the Monarchs, this is where you have to pounce on it. You got 3 runs last inning. Get back in the hit column and get things rolling the right way. Doesn't have to be 3, doesn't have to be 4, but try and get 1 or 2, because that will be huge in the long run, because 7, 8, 9, oftentimes it's too little too late. So this is a big inning here, because you're not quite back in the back 9, as they say in the golf, with the 6th inning. Still got some time.
This is exactly where it all started in the 5th. Tyler Overitis led off to face the new pitcher, Manny Voorhees. So for the second straight inning, Overitis greets the incoming pitcher for Grand Lake. Overitis has walked twice so far tonight. Takes the first pitch strike from Bacon.
Really good stuff so far from Bacon. Painting the outside corner perfectly. Going back to it on the 3rd pitch. Just missed there. Wow. Pretty similar to the first 2 pitches. Overitis has to make an adjustment here as they set back once again outside.
Really trying to paint the outer edge and corner of the plate. The last 2 pitches barely missed. Off speed. Hit to the opposite field foul by Overitis.
Overitis does a good job, though, of taking the pitch to the left field. Something a lot of players struggle with.
Great plate discipline there. Just held off. We saw the leg kick, but the fastball was just upstairs. Swing and a miss. Bacon sends down Overitis for the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
Credit that to Bacon for really sticking with that outer part of the plate and executing it to perfection. You see a lot of relievers are heavily off speed, and Bacon is definitely one of those guys. As you see, Illich is out in front with a swing and miss. He knows he wants it. But guys like that are so tempting, because you think you're going to hit a home run and then swing and a miss. So they really disrupt your rhythm, and it's frustrating.
Illich had that one home run in the Richmond series, and ever since he's been hungry for more.
Yeah. He had a few home runs in batting practice today as well, so his swing really welcomes it.
2-hopper to the left side. Ebling waits for it to come to him, and a nice pick by Vonderhaar at first.
It's a good hustle there from Illich. He was really chugging along. That's the second time we've seen him nearly beat out a throw in the infield. But good stuff nonetheless from Bacon.
Now batting shortstop number 4.
It's so
Jack
frustrating, Jake, when you got a guy that's not really throwing the hardest, but his ball moves, and you just don't get the best contact. It's almost like a mind game. He's living in your head.
The off-speed pitch caught Jack Fitzharris by surprise. Count 0-1, 2 outs. Fastball. Ripped up the middle, played off of a hop. Vonderhaar goes down to get that one. 3 up, 3 down for Brandon Bacon. An efficient bottom 6. We go to the 7th. 7-3, Grand Lake leads. We'll be right back. We return for the last third of tonight's ball game with Alex Maxwell. I'm Jake Gorwitz, taking you home here in the regular season. The finale for both sides. Again, our apologies for technical difficulties that we experienced earlier here in the broadcast booth. Tried our best to get everything back running smoothly as quick as possible. Might be a few different streams on the YouTube, but fingers crossed, we've got you covered for the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
We appreciate the patience and cooperation.
Reese Longstaff replaces Seth Gurgley, another unfamiliar face on the mound.
And Longstaff really not short of any velocity in the first 2 pitches we've seen so far.
The 2-0, swung on, hit to Henry Brown. It takes Yatzak off the ground, but he gets back down in time to tag out Luke Vonderhaar.
An athletic move there from Hayden Yatzak. And a little bit of a first baseman's nightmare when you got to go off the bag and you know a guy's coming your way. You panic a little bit and you worry, but way to stay composed over there, and 1 up, 1 down for the man from Melbourne.
That pitch gets away
Just a little bit.
from Longstaff. Just off target.
Now this pitch right here is a big bounce back. So if he can find the zone here, that would just be huge for his morale.
Thought he might for a second. The fastball was up top, though. Count 2-0 on Benjamin Starrett. Right there. Chopper up the middle in between the gap of Fitzharris and Coleman. And Starrett is on first with a single.
That's all right if you're Reese. I mean, that ball was just a chopper up the middle. Starrett, good piece right there, but if you're Longstaff, you got to be happy that you found your rhythm back and you're giving your defense a shot. Let's get a double play though.
Cameron and Coleman playing in double play depth, shading second base. Big gap on the right side with Yatzak holding Starrett on first.
Yep. Curveball had a lot of movement on it. It's just a little too inside. But I'm impressed with the velocity and the spin rate on that curveball. So Reese definitely not too shabby on the mound.
Count 3-0 to Jacob Danneman. Has reached base on all of his plate appearances tonight.
Yep.
Was hit by a pitch, single, then reached on an E5. A quick pickoff move.
Oh, yeah. Longstaff sporting one of the stronger arms on the team, so no surprise that that was an absolute missile to first. Just a little inside. That seems to be Longstaff's miss tonight. But that one out was crucial here, because now there's a play at any base.
Now batting the designated hitter number 5.
That's why it's so important to get an out early in the inning, because it gives you cushion to maybe have a walk or two.
Fastball misses inside right there. That's been the theme of Longstaff's brief outing tonight. Just missing inside. He does so again. A little brush back to Carson Clark. Count 2-0.
Now Reese has to be careful not to forget about the runner on second. He hasn't really given him a look yet. If you're the runner on second, I would consider taking off here.
Foul ball back into the Mariners' dugout. Moves the count to 2-1.
Yeah, if you're Starrett, recognize that Longstaff hasn't really taken a look over and take advantage of that.
Charging it is Yatzak. He fumbles it a couple times. First he was going to go to second, then he was going to take it himself for maybe an underhand flip to Longstaff, who did a good job of getting over to first, but just a couple bobbles and everyone's safe.
It's not what you need if you're the Monarchs. You have a pitcher on the mound that is repping the first innings of his career, and he needs all the help he can get. And a ground ball like that is definitely not going to help the game at all.
So now it's the Mariners' turn with bases juiced. First pitch strike to Brandon Green. Green's been fortunate today, reached base twice on a couple fielders' choices.
And you see the Mariners a little late and behind on these pitches here. Really shows you the velocity that Longstaff has. Definitely have to take him seriously.
He's ahead early. Here's the 0-2. Off speed, high and in. Another chopper. The flip to second. The bare hand catch by Fitzharris, but that's all that will get done for that at-bat. Brandon Green once again reaches on a fielder's choice, and another run comes across for Grand Lake.
But a good job from Longstaff. Nobody's hit the ball hard off him yet. Another chopper that's up the middle, and a solid play by Camden Coleman to flip it behind him to Fitzharris. Still a good job from Longstaff. Just a little.
How many choppers have we seen?
At least 2.
I'm thinking maybe 3.
And that won the first base. That was 3, yeah. So it shows you what he's got on the mound. Good stop there from Illich. That was a little low in the dirt. As a pitcher, you really love that. It gives you more faith.
One hopper back to Longstaff. He'll take his time. The easy throw over to Yatzak for the third out. Sends Andrew Nikoluk back to the dugout and ends the top of the 7th. The Mariners get 1 run back. It's 8-3. We'll stretch here before the bottom half of the inning and step aside for a brief moment.
Bottom of the 7th inning for the Monarchs. First baseman, number 30.
If you're scoring this game at home, there's a whole lot to keep up with. Another pitching change on the Mariners side. It's Zach Boyer that enters the game, replaces Brandon Bacon, going to the bottom of the 7th. Yatzak ambushes the first pitch right out of the reach of Jacob Danneman. And the leadoff batter is quickly aboard.
A nice piece there from Yatzak. Looked much like Miguel Cabrera shooting that to the right side. The pitch was out and away, and good hitters find a way to hit the ball to all directions of the field. A great start.
Boyer bounces that pitch to the catcher, Brandon Green. It's Carson Caudill now up. 1 for 3 with an RBI. So far this evening, only 2 at-bats coming into this game. One of them was an RBI single on the road. against Jetbox at Milford High School, part of that 15-0 victory. And he has himself an infield single.
How about that? 2 for 3 tonight. Maybe he should bat third more often. But anyways, a good start from the Monarchs in this inning.
Now batting second baseman, number 3.
8-3 the score is. It looks like it could be trimmed down if the Monarchs continue the way things are going.
This is exactly how they manufactured 3 runs in the 5th inning. The leadoff few batters got on base.
A nice pitch there from Boyer. Difficult to step in the box and see a first pitch curveball. Kind of sets the tone right away. Now, if you're Yatzek, you got to be aware of those balls in the dirt. And if it manages to get past green, you got to be aggressive here.
One sliced into right field. It's caught by Starrett. No tag up from Yatzek. So Yatzek remains on second, Caudill on first.
It's the right move to not go anywhere. Starrett would have
Now batting third baseman, number
hit the cut, and it would have
23, Henry Brown.
froze Yatzek over there at third if he decided to go.
And we saw how quickly he got it in.
Yeah, that's really number one job of any outfielder when the ball hits you. Get it in as fast as you can.
Another first pitch curveball. Doesn't locate the zone to Henry Brown. Count 1-0. 1 out, 2 runners on. Another jam job. Infield fly rule in play. 2 down.
And I know that's frustrating from the Monarchs, not getting the best at-bats, but
Now batting
give
right
credit to the
fielder,
pitching.
number
Boyer's been
17,
filthy so far,
Sandon Cuthrell.
really sawing off the Monarchs hitters. That's what happens when your ball runs in on the hands of a right-handed hitter as a right-handed pitcher.
Fastball tipped foul by Sandon Cuthrell. Yatzak and Caudill, the first 2 batters to face Zach Boyer, got on base. And then ever since, Boyer has been lights out.
Yep. His off speed has been magnificent, Jake. It's really well complemented with his fastball.
We saw the fastball there. Came in on the inner part of the plate. Count 2-1. Boyer's really painting the inner part of the plate, getting guys sawed off,
Yeah.
jamming them.
We've seen the opposite from other pitchers tonight. A lot of the time they like to go in on the outer part. But when you got velocity like Boyer, you can have that luxury of sawing guys off. A lot of broken bats you'll see.
Runners on the move, and he walks Cuthrell.
Here we go, Jake. Another 2-out opportunity for the Monarchs.
And another chance for Ian Francis
Now batting left
with
fielder,
bases loaded. He had him juiced in the 5th. Ended the inning by flying out to center.
Yep. I tell you, this hasn't been the best game for the Monarchs, but they've given themselves a lot of chances to be in this game. Bases loaded multiple times. men in scoring position. And another opportunity right now.
And we've seen walks work against the Monarchs and for them at different points throughout the season. But I know that that's something that we harp on quite a bit, the free passes. Tonight they've drawn quite a few. Drew 4 of them in the 5th. Most recently, Cuthrell right there. Put him on first. It's 1-1 count, 2 outs. Cuthrell on first. Caudill on second. Yatzak on third for Ian Francis. Lined into center field, but it just stays high for a second too long. And Goods steps right in to make the play. 8-3 remains the score going to the 8th, but another missed opportunity with bases loaded.
Yeah, that one was unlucky there. A hot shot from Ian Francis, a great swing. He was right on Boyer in that at-bat. Nothing you could really do there. If that was a few feet to the left or right, that likely would have been down, and 2 runs would have scored, and it would be 8-5. But Jake, really, I don't think the hitting's been the big problem tonight. You see 6 hits to 5. Mariners lead that. But the category that really stands out is 4 errors. That's very uncharacteristic of the Monarchs. Something that they like to limit to 0.
We're about to see our 3rd position player pitch. It's Tyler Nelson taking over the pitching duties for Reese Longstaff. And especially on a night where you don't have your normal pitchers on the mound, helping them out is that much more important.
Oh, it absolutely is. You need all the help you can get. You need all the insurance runs, and any ground ball that comes to you, you got to make a play and give them a chance. 4 errors is not good at any level. Nonetheless, a team that's trying to make a big playoff run here. Well, here we go, Tyler. He looks pretty good so far in warm-ups. We'll see how things go, though, with a man in the box.
Leading off the top of the 8th inning for Grand Lake, left fielder number 21, Sam Seeker.
Sam Seeker set to make his 2nd plate appearance tonight. First pitch from Tyler Nelson. High, count 1-0. Illich tried to bring that pitch up into the zone. Doesn't work for the home plate ump's liking. Here's the 2-1.
Good pitch there from Nelson to even it up at 2-2. Nelson really feeding off that off speed. And that's a good move from a guy that doesn't usually pitch. Generally speaking, you're not going to kill him with your velocity, so why not let the curveballs do the talking?
That is pieced into center field, deep, going back over the head of Caudill. Got him all turned around and chugging to third is Seeker. I think he wanted to go home. He got held up at third. But he's on with the triple.
I think that was the right move. Seeker found his pitch, and that pounced on that. That was almost off the wall at 400 feet, dead center. A tough play from Caudill, a guy that's usually not out there. So Nelson really needs to go back to that off speed because a good hitter will time up that fastball.
Donnie Goods watches the first pitch strike go by. Fouls that one off, count 0-2. That had to have been one of the deeper shots that we've seen to dead center field all year.
Oh, yeah. The fact that it was high also really made it impressive, too. Got a little bit of a pitcher's eye, green monster out there in center. So it'd be tough to hit a shot straight away, you know?
Really the closest call that I can think of is Ian Kennedy sent a rocket into left center, much deeper than that base knock by Donnie Goods. But another run tacked on. The score is now 9-3. Grand Lake leads. Do you remember that Ian Kennedy bomb?
Yeah, that was a shot. That was comparable to Sam Seeker's shot. But a good shot nonetheless from Donnie Goods. We don't want to forget about what he just did. A nice piece as a lefty going to over shortstop's head as he takes second here and another no throw. And the Mariners having their way so far in this inning. Nobody out still, man on second. That's a big bounce back pitch there for Nelson. He's gotten hit pretty well in the last two at-bats. Good to see him find the zone with a strike.
Misses his spot on that pitch. Donnie Goods is able to advance to third. And the count's 2-1 on Adam Ebling. Two put in a foul play. Extends Ebling's at-bat. Full count now. Nelson got pieced up on that first matchup against Seeker. That was some solid contact by Goods, but how about our first strikeout from a position player?
A nice pitch there outside. Little movement to that pitch there. So it just moved out of the zone. A nice little pitch there from Nelson. Good bounce back as he sat down Ebling.
You can tell that Ebling is not happy about that one. He knows he just struck out to an outfielder. And a guy that was one of the league leaders in RBIs.
Yeah, but Nelson, credit to Nelson.
That's yanked down the third baseline and a strong throw over, but put it in the turf, escapes away from Hayden Yatzak and all the way to third base is Luke Vonderhaar. And another run will score.
That was a great play, a great effort by Henry Brown. It looked like it was a pickable ball from Henry Brown. But nonetheless, a difficult play overall. And the Mariners still having their way. (10-3) the score reads. And we're going to have a pitching change. Hayden Yatzak's going to come over. And nope, no, we're not going to, excuse me.
Maybe just a mound visit.
Just a mound visit. A needed mound visit as well. I mean, Coach K's got to talk to the guys and smooth some things over. You know, you can't lose your discipline and your focus just because you're losing. But the Mariners deserve to be in this game. They deserve to be winning this game. This is not just a lucky inning. This has been several solid innings strung together. And Jake, we do have a pitching change. Henry Brown's going to start some pitching. We talked about a scorer's nightmare. This has come to life right here.
A tough night on the job for our statistician, Brandon Lowe, and for everyone keeping track of the action at home. This will be the Monarchs' sixth pitcher.
And it looks like Tyler's going back to the outfield. So we got third base coming in to pitch. Pitcher going to left.
Left coming to third.
Left coming to third. Oh, man.
Oh, brother. This is
This
special.
hurts my head a little bit. Ian Francis getting some reps, though, at third. I know he loves that. He's got a solid glove, too, mind you. I mean, we see him every day in BP. I'll tell you, Jake, once you get to a certain level, everyone's an athlete. And you can kind of find your way just on skill. And then, obviously, reps come along with it. But these guys are good enough to at least manage the position for the situation that they're in.
Now batting the right fielder, number 19, Benjamin Sterrett.
And it looks like they're going to bat through the lineup in this inning.
Foul ball back into the netting by Benjamin Sterrett. And Henry Brown actually has pitched once this season, so a little more familiar to the mound than his teammates Longstaff, Gurgley, and Nelson. That pitch bounces away. Vonderhaar will come home to score. And another Mariners run makes it 11-3. Fastball up top makes the count 2-1 on Benjamin Sterrett. Turns on that one, sends it just foul. Evens the count 2 apiece.
It's a good confidence pitch there from Henry Brown. Get things going on the right track. It's not easy to come in the situation he's been put in. But he's doing the best he can at the moment.
Time's called by Sterrett. He's 3 for 3 today. 3 singles in his last 3 plate appearances. Was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. All the way back in the first inning when Grand Lake went around the order.
You want a guy like Sterrett on your team because he gets on base so often. And threatening to get on base for a 4th time here with the 3-2 count.
Payoff pitch, fouled away over the netting.
I tell you, the velocity is not the problem here with Henry Brown. He's definitely sitting in the upper 80s. Maybe even low 90s. He's got a strong arm in the infield. We know that.
We just saw it on display.
Yeah.
But he walks Sterrett there.
Now batting the second baseman, number 10, Jacob Danneman.
One out. Still in the top of the 8th. Mariners lead 11-3 over the Michigan Monarchs. Playoffs have been clinched. The North Division has been clinched. Home field advantage has been settled. It was locked up for the first round on Wednesday. It was clinched last night for the entirety of the playoffs for the Monarchs, so nothing to worry about. That's why we see some unusual moves tonight, providing some guys with rests and unique opportunities to play different positions. And one of the biggest takeaways, really saving the arms.
Yeah, that's really the big takeaway here, Jake. That's an excellent point by you. Guys that need to pitch are getting rest, and the guys that usually are 1, 2, 3 in the lineup are getting rest.
And some fun.
And some fun, yeah. It's a lot more loose than usual.
Runner on the move into second base standing up.
And the Mariners know that, right? The Mariners know that they're dealing with the best team in the league right now, and that this is a little bit of a fluky night. Not trying to rain on anything they've done. They've done a great job tonight, but a little bit of a unique situation the Monarchs have.
Two fouled off by Jacob Danneman. Walked in his most recent at-bat. And with 3 runs thus far in the top of the 8th, we're getting closer to perhaps that run rule. It's a 10-run lead after 7. So the lead is 8, a man on second. We don't want to jump to conclusions, Alex, but might see that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it in favor of the Monarchs a few times, and the night early.
Yeah, this is one of the games that you want to just forget about and flush it. Jake, it seems like this at-bat is going on for an eternity.
It really is.
Just another foul ball, making Brown's life hard.
We had our attention on a little fan taking home a souvenir. He's chasing foul balls left and right, so that's great to see. That's line into right field. It'll drop in front of Cuthrell. Coming home is Starrett. Grand Lake now leads 12-3.
Man, that is an outstanding at-bat from Danneman. Just kept fouling pitches off, not going away, and shooting that pitch to the right side of the field. Scoring another run, Jake, 12-3. You said it. They could be at mercy here. We're in that territory. A tap might be coming.
Runner on the move, throw down, not in time.
Now, I question why you would even do that. That's a little low from the Mariners there. Because when the Monarchs were beating them like that, they did not treat them the same. That's a little bush there. 12-3.
Well, you also have to take into account the drive home for Grand Lake. You're 1 run away. And everybody's night early, but I see where you're coming from. Can't argue with that point.
Brown was definitely mad with that one.
And absolutely, you do have
It's a little bit of an
pitchers.
Yeah,
Non-pitchers on the mound.
it's Bush.
Here's the 3-0 to Carson Clark. Runner on the move. Throw down. Not in time once again. Danneman swipes another bag.
Well,
Not exactly what you would
no. No comment
like
there.
to see. But with that in effect,
Why don't you steal home? Why don't you?
a 4-pitch walk. Carson Clark will take first. The runners on the corner still with 1 out. Head coach Ben Kamenowski will walk to the mound. You can sense the frustration through the body language of Henry Brown. Willingly hands the ball to Coach K.
So now we got Camden Coleman looking to take charge on the bump. We haven't really seen Coleman on the mound so far.
We haven't at all.
Nope. It looks like Brown is going to make his way to first base. So a lot of moves here, and Yatzek's going to be, we'll wait to see where he goes.
He'll swap his first baseman's mitt.
And Coleman's going to rep the sidearm motion here.
Maybe take a page out of pitching coach Alex Lord's book.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Coach Lord. He'll be continuing his college career at Davenport. He'll keep it going in that uniform, going back for his MBA.
Yep. Davenport growing into a powerhouse in the GLIAC in the Division II. A great place to be on the west side of the state in Grand Rapids. Definitely an up-and-coming program, so a good home there.
Fitzharris is the only player in the infield that hasn't switched spots.
Yeah. Hey,
Yatzak will go to second, Henry Brown to first. Ian Francis came from left to third. Camden Coleman now pitching. I wish we had a graphic for everyone because words simply don't do justice in this scenario. I can do my best to describe the movement around the horn for everyone. But this is a case of pictures would be better than words.
Yeah. I mean, let's get a. This almost hurt. This hurts my head, and I'm right here, so I can only imagine how difficult it is to follow along as a viewer.
So men on the corners. It's Carson Clark at first, Jacob Daneman on third, Brandon Green up to the dish. First pitch from Camden Coleman out of the zone. Count 1-0. 12-3 the score in the top of the 8th. One more run would do it. It would close out this regular season finale. Count 1-1 after the swing and miss.
I like what we've seen out of Coleman so far. A lot of movement off that sidearm motion. But he's got to find the zone. It's difficult, Jake, to come in on short notice, on zero notice, really, and throw strikes.
And it's an interesting arm slot, an arm angle for Brandon Green. You don't see it too often.
No. Mostly in the bullpen when you do.
Brandon Green draws a walk on 5 pitches from Camden Coleman. And the bases are loaded.
Now batting the shortstop, number 1, Andrew Nicola.
So it's 9 then top for the Grand Lake Mariners. Andrew Nicoluk steps in now with the bases loaded, and 1 run would put this game to an end. Nicolak 1 for 3 on the night with a walk. Here's the 0-1. Outside. Patrick Illich almost threw down to third. Swing and a miss there from Andrew Nicolak. Coleman brought the high cheese on that pitch. Count 1-2.
A little too eager there from Nicolak. Pitch was a little high, like you said. But good job from Coleman for settling down and finding the zone. Really tough spot to be in. Monarchs down 12-3 here.
Count now 2-2. Still 1 out. Five straight Mariners have reached base. Make that 7 out of 8 here in the inning. Swing and a miss. Down goes Andrew Nicolak. And with bases loaded, there's now 2 outs.
The Monarchs stay alive there. Coleman doing a good job of
Now batting the left fielder,
doing the best he can with what he has.
So back to the top of the lineup, right where Grand Lake started in this 8th inning. They'll start with Sam Seeker. He roped a triple first time up, and it's popped up to the left side of the infield. Under it is Ian Francis, but it deflects off of his glove. A run will score. I would think that would be your ball game after 2 runners come home. 14-3 now.
Yeah, that's difficult there for the Monarchs. But the Monarchs have to have an at-bat, though. Got to think about college overtime, Jake.
True.
Teams getting a possession. Especially since the Monarchs are the home team. But definitely a night to forget if you're the Monarchs. As now they need to get a run, to get 2 runs, to get things, keep things alive.
14-3 going to the bottom of the 8th. Alex, the best way to describe this night is just quirky.
Yeah, it's just the ball hasn't bounced their way. The Monarchs really weren't ready to go from the get-go. But credit to the Mariners. They put it to the Monarchs. They've have more hits, less errors. And they've capitalized on every opportunity. And granted, the Monarchs are not pitching their normal guys. They're not playing their normal guys in specific areas. So quirky is a good word to use. And this isn't a game you want to freak out in, right? If you had your starting 1 through 9 in your ace, you would be a little concerned, but nothing to worry about here.
Grand Lake makes a pitching change of its own. It's Ethan Bobo coming into the game, a right-hander from Lincoln Memorial University, a Georgia native. And at a minimum, it's good to see a lot of different guys, especially on Grand Lake, get some action in their last game of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, go out with a bang. You know, you're going to have some downtime before school starts up. So take it easy.
It almost feels like the All-Star game when everyone gets an inning.
Well, it's like that for us, too. I mean, we see guys that have never pitched out here on the mound. But yeah, I get the vibe you're feeling.
You're picking up what I'm putting down?
Yep. But man, oh man, Jake, this is a night to forget, but not a night to freak out at all. And if you're wondering at home why the score is 14-3, we've seen a lot of pitching changes. We've seen a lot of guys that don't usually pitch a completely different lineup before the playoffs start. So kind of a free-for-all, if you will, but not in a clueless way.
It was 6 runs in the top of the first for Grand Lake that really got the party started. Another 6 in the top half of this inning, and a couple runs along the way bring us to this 14-3 score. 7 Monarchs have pitched. It was started off with Kane Elmy for 1 inning, Keaton Ballard for 4 innings, but ever since, all position players on the mound, Gurgley, Longstaff, Nelson, Brown, and Coleman, who ended the top half of the inning pitching for the home team. So Tyler Nelson up to bat now.
The Mariners looking to close things out here as Bobo comes out firing first pitch with a heater.
Fastball high, count 1-1 on Nelson. This is his first plate appearance tonight. Came into pitch and then went into the field. This is where Tyler Overitis hit previously in the lineup, so it's Tyler Nelson, Patrick Illich, then top with Jack Fitzharris, looking to keep this game going in the bottom of the 8th. Alex, I'd say that the biggest word of tonight, and exactly what you don't want to do, is overreact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to sound the alarm because, like we said before, this is not the normal lineup. And going into this game, the mentality wasn't, win or go home. It was kind of just let things happen as they unfold.
Tyler Nelson draws a walk, so the Monarchs have a base runner on with no outs. It would take 2 runs for the Monarchs to keep this game going.
Yep.
Down by 11, need to cut it under 10 to avoid the run rule. Fastball in the zone. Illich still hitless tonight. Drew a walk in the 5th. Grounded out a couple times other than that. Taking a look at the scoreboard around the GLSEL, we already know the situation for the playoffs in the North Division. It's the Monarchs and the Lima Locos starting next Tuesday, but there's an interesting scenario going on in the South. The Hamilton Joes have already secured their spot in the postseason, but the Cincinnati Steam and the Licking County Settlers are battling for the last spot. The Settlers have 1 game left. The Steam need to keep winning. They need to win out. They needed to win 3 in a row. And if I'm not mistaken, they only need to win 1 more game because Cincinnati won last night and they won tonight. Just checking. They beat the Xenia Scouts 7-6. So Licking County win and you're in.
Yeah.
But you lose and the Steam win, then we could have a little robbery.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that
in the South.
That there's so much drama with such little time left. Glad that we don't have any of that to deal with up here in the North, as the Monarchs have secured that.
Jack Fitzharris sends it straight to Nicoluk at short, and there's 2 outs.
And being a little crafty here with the crafty mind that I like to have. It would have been cool if Nicoluk dropped that and created a double play. Could have get out of this game with that too. Just a thought. I've seen it happen in the bigs before. Ian Kinsler famously did that a few years ago.
A heads-up play.
Yeah,
that's great thinking on your part.
I'm sure he'll be thinking about that later as it was a soft liner. He could have just let it go.
That thought definitely doesn't cross the mind of the average baseball fan.
But you want to catch this one.
Absolutely do. Hayden Yatzak pops it up to Nicoluk, making the last 2 plays of the game. So now the run rule does come into effect. Grand Lake will end their season with a win. The Monarchs end the regular season with a loss, but as we all know, the Monarchs start the playoffs next Tuesday hosting the Lima Locos. An interesting game to say the least. 14-3 is your final. The 2 sides played 4 games this week, 2 in Salina, Ohio, 2 here in Adrian, Michigan, splitting both series, both 2-game series. And Alex, we used the word quirky a little bit ago. Just a unique game that you can't read too much into.
Yeah, you can't really put so much faith and so much emphasis on this 14-3 loss, which we haven't seen from the Monarchs this year. Jake, you said it best. Unusual, quirky, unorthodox. This is not the normal lineup that you'll see on a nightly basis, whether that be 1 through 9 batting or in the field or on the mound. Not a normal night, not a typical night, but we knew that going in. So this might sound negative, but it's not that crazy that this happened when you have all these unusual scenarios and then you got a team that's trying to beat you with their normal lineup. Stuff like this happens. So flush it, forget about it, bounce back, and let's get locked and loaded, dialed coming in to Tuesday. Home field advantage, roll Narcs.
Roll Narcs, baby. Let's, like you said, flush this game away, put it in the rearview mirror. All focus turns to the playoffs. It's ring season. This team is looking for a championship. We see Grand Lake jumping around in the dugout, and it's good to see them end their summers on a high note. It's great to see that. They're jumping around in the dugout. They had a good time tonight for good reason. A 14-3 win. But the Monarchs are the team that will be playing next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Hosting Lima, and this is the best team in for the Monarchs, the organization, that it's had in a while. The best team before now was 2017. That Monarchs team was 27-15, but they were turfed in the first round of the playoffs. It only took 1 game. I think it was a different playoff setup back then, but not quite the record, just a few games back this year. But playoffs and a lot of potential for this team, despite the game tonight.
Oh, yeah. Once we see the normal starting infield and outfield and guys on the mound, it'll be completely different. But more important than that, when they get their mentality right, when they get their focus, when they're dialed, that's when you want to see the Monarchs play. That's when they're fun to watch. Don't worry so much about having fun and being goofy. When the boys need to get a W, watch them because they're lights out. There's a reason why they were number 1 in the North and number 1 in the league. They're a damn good ball team. They're fun to watch. Don't worry about it. Bounce back. See you Tuesday. Let's get things going. Right, Jake?
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. The morale is still high. The energy is still high for the Monarchs. They had some fun tonight. It was a quirky, unique, interesting, fascinating game, however you want to put it. We got the weekend to get rested and refreshed. We'll see you next Tuesday night hosting the first round of the playoffs here in Adrian, Michigan at the Joseph K. McLaughlin Baseball Stadium. For Alex Maxwell, I'm Jake Gorwitz, wrapping things up for the regular season of Michigan Monarchs baseball.
Yep.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Be well. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening.